It's tremendously important as we've made tremendous record-breaking successes over the last 2.5 years. But when we look at what we have to face as we're facing our national crisis related to keeping our best and our brightest in front of our children, last night, was openly a setback. When we look at the millage in the current state that we were down, I think to date this morning, 619 votes. We have automatically the supervisors of election will start the recount process. It is statutory required. To that process they initiate if it's under a certain threshold. And so currently they're working. They will gather their team by tomorrow afternoon, and they'll start looking at all of the mechanics and starting on Friday and Saturday to create that recount to make certain that every one of the ballots of this community is accounted for in the proper and an efficient manner. Currently, we're around 2.85% off related to the number of votes that we needed to be able to get to this across the line to be successful with it. And so openly, when they look at the 619 votes or all the votes, we need around 310 votes to be able to get to the victory line. That potentially, may happen. We don't forecast that will happen. However, the biggest thing we have to continue to recognize is all the hard work that those who are involved in this process, work diligently to inform, this in community so they can make the decisions based on their personal viewpoints and where they believe the district continually is and what our needs are. As it relates to where we are, right now with the school district, it really continues to be a challenge for us because we have, close to 600 instructional vacancies. And we've done a really nice job making certain we deploy close to 300 instructional certified staff members from the district level to cover classrooms. But now we've got to go back and look at additional strategies to be able to address, the growing needs for stability within our school district. So, if the recount process gets under a 0.25, then we can engage and ask for a manual count. So we're just waiting for that information to come to us, and we forecast that to be around Sunday. We'll have more information to be able to move forward with it. Openly though, we still continue to move forward. We go back to work. We continue to be champions for our teachers, champions for our support staff, champions for our school-based leaders and district leaders, and most importantly, champions for students. This is not one of the first barrier we have faced in the last 2.5 years. This administration, this board has faced tremendous number of barriers, from COVID to mass, to start of school, to financial deficits, you name it. And we've all come through that on top. I want to be very clear, regardless, if this doesn't come out in the way that we aspire it to come out, this community will see us again and see me again in 2024. And that just gives us sufficient time to openly engage the community, prove competence, prove financial stability, which we've done in the last 2.5 years, and continue to focus and acknowledge that every surrounding county now has an increased mill to address compensation. The only one remaining is Polk County, and they will go out in 2024. Meaning when we talk about equity and being able to make certain that our children our students are able to compete from one district to the next, we have to continue to grow and stand up and make certain that we have salary schedules that are most attractive. And at the same token, being able to expand visual performing arts, and then also continue to expand workforce development and workforce classrooms through career technical education in an expedited manner, but one that is really surgical and sophisticated, that really meets our students where they are so they can stay local and earn a livable wage. So, it's in front of us, this challenge. We'll continue to get strong. We'll learn from it. We'll learn how to unpack every precinct to determine areas that we did not win. And me as superintendent and our team members and our cabinet members, and we will work to engage those particular pockets to regain that trust and build relationships so that they have faith in what we do every single day as we continue to become, not only the number 19th, the highest we've ever been academically, but continue to move forward to become a top 10 school district and the number 1 school district in the state of Florida.
So looking introspectively, where did you go wrong? Where did the district fall short in being able to convince those who voted no last night to vote yes?
Yeah, I don't think it's about where we went wrong. It's about what we can do better. And, openly, me and my team, we went to close to 60 community engagements. We engaged with media outlets, over 80 touch points, whether it be through editorials, whether it be through interviews, points of interest we've also sent out a number of communications to our stakeholders, to our principals, to our teachers, to our parents. So we did a good job disseminating information. We just think there's a lot of factors to play into this decision. One, when we look at inflation related to the housing in the Hillsborough and Tampa region, we believe it's greater than the surrounding counties. Also, when you look at historical perspectives related to financial implementation, other counties that got this passed last night throughout the state didn't have to face the Florida's greatest financial deficit with $150 million having to address. And we did that making very tough decisions that were so unattractive, and I, as superintendent in this team, would never have made. So I think that it's about, in 2.5 years, while this administration and this board has done a really good job of being fiscally responsible and transparent, it's hard to change the perception in that period of time of practices that have been implemented. So I think that as we continue to have outreach moments, as we continue to connect with civic leaders, delegation, community members, parents, I think the more that we are in front of them, the more that we are proving competence with funding, the more that we continue to move the needle instructionally, academically, socially, and emotionally, the better we become and the better individuals feel about the school district and scale.
After this process, this recount, if this doesn't move forward, what are some of the strategies you have in mind for teachers, for students? Do you mind if I say the question in Spanish?
You're more than welcome.
Thank you. Digamos que no siguen con esta propuesta, ¿qué estrategias tienen en mente para apoyar a los maestros y a los estudiantes?
Yeah, so one of the things that we have to be able to look at is class size. I mean, right now with over 600 instructional vacancies, we may have to move class size, nudge that, 1 or 2 students per class at aggregate. We're working right now to run the analytics to determine what that looks like. We never would want to do that. However, we're just trying to create stability for our students. And that takes away all of the hard work that has to happen with office staff, with school-based leaders, and also teachers and support staff. And they come in every single morning and determine what classroom has to be covered, how are we going to break this classroom up, what can we do to have that stability. And I think that will remove angst. But it creates angst as well. One thing we don't want to do is increase class sizes, but I know no other strategy to create that stability for our students. And as I said, the vacancies isn't unique to just Hillsborough County. It's throughout the state and throughout the nation. It's just not, and it's not unique to education in isolation. Whether you go to a restaurant, whether you go to a retail store, everyone's hiring. So, we're trying to win the talent war every single day, but those are some of the strategies. And openly, we've got to figure out, and I'll use my superintendent advisory council, I'll use the principal advisory council to lean on our board members to figure out what we can do to address the well-being and the mindfulness of this environment. Because it's been very complex in the last 2.5 years for individuals transition to education. It's what a remarkable, rewarding profession. But we got to get to a part where compensation packages are valued, and at the same token, creating the right environment where all of our employees feel that they're really a part of something special. And Hillsborough County is something special, a great place.
Describe the impact on the sizes of the numbers of the changes will be in classrooms bigger.
Yeah, we have more information to come on that. Right now, we don't have a plan to articulate. We're still running analytics, and once we do that, we'll make sure we engage all of our principals, all of our staff members, all of our community members, but openly, it's one of the strategies we may have to face.
Superintendent, you kind of already discussed this a little bit. However, you over the last 5 to 10 years, you used the word trust several times when it comes to finances and the budget. Do you think that really was the number one reason why this failed, and is that fair?
I think it's a contributor. Trying to erase, some challenges is hard to do. When the perception's created out there, we try to do everything we can to arm, all of our constituents, all of our employees with information that they can better understand, and tell a story of our financial makeup. For me, it doesn't do any good for me to go back and look at what, the historical trends, because as I said it last night, I've said it every single day, those who go into education, they work very hard, to create, great opportunities for children, and also being able to engage employees to show them that they value them every single day. However, leadership styles are different. Understanding of the financial mechanics are different. When I came in and 2.5 years ago, I had to inform the community and the board of where we were financially, because doing our own internal audit, and this is well documented, whether it be through the Gibson report in 2015, the Gibson report in 2016. We also had a Council of Great City School report that was acknowledged in 2020 that we asked to identify, and it showed that the school district was overstaffed compared to other school districts like school districts throughout the state. And I think the number was close to 3,000. And as each of you know, I cut over 1,000 positions coming in and moved hundreds of teachers, which I never would have done as a leader, and made some very difficult decisions. So, when you do those types of things and you take drastic, measures to save the district financially, that creates heartache. And, individuals in the community have the right to be able to question what's going on with every dollar and every cent. But I will tell you, in the last 2.5 years, this school board has been very diligent of holding me accountable and our team accountable for making certain that every dollar and every cent's linked to strategic plan and linked to protecting classrooms and teachers in that process. So, we're going to get better. I think that in the process of looking where we are, this will be the first year in a decade that we end this past school year not in a financial deficit, and we'll continue to implement the financial recovery plan effectively.
We have one last question, guys.
So talking about the trust on the school board, there's some members of the school board that mentioned the voice that they were against the tax, even though this will support students and teachers.
Sure.
And you have been transparent. Why do you say so?
You know what? I value every board member that we have, and their role and responsibility is to be a voice of their community. So they know their community, what their aspirations are in their community, and their role and responsibility is to be that representative of that body. So, I support board members when they make their individual decisions, because there's so many different complexities that they have to be able to take in order to make that informed decision. I was a former elected official, so I understand it. So, we would love to have a unanimous decision for the millage, but openly, the board's job is to represent their community in the best manner, and I appreciate them for doing that.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Just real quick, does
Yeah.
Florida law limit the number of kids that you can have in a classroom?
Yeah, I mean, there is class size regulations without a doubt. There is class size regulations, and so we're in a good spot with that. We'll continue to monitor that. There's FTE windows, one in October, they take a snapshot, and one in February. So as a school district, school choice average in primary, which is kindergarten to third grade, has to be 18 and under. When you look at 4th grade to 8th grade, it has to be 22 and under, and 9th grade to 12th grade is 25 and under. So, but it's an average. We're a choice school district, so they look at the average at scale for the school district and each individual school at scale, and we'll continue to monitor that every day, no different than the way that we've historically done.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Go with their content.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Late to this, Eric.
Oh, my fault.
It was good.